It's finally here, people. The Champions League final. Wait. We're doing this proper. None of this graphics or any of that sort of stuff. This is the Champions League final. We're giving now proper preview and prediction. No photos, no nothing, just hardcore analysis. Because it is the Champions League final. Manchester City going up against Inter. Team trying to go for a treble, team trying to win their second trophy this season. Inzaghi trying to rectify what was going to be a horrible season, could turn out to be one of the best seasons in Inter history. All on the line in Istanbul. Before we go further into the video, hit the like button. The like target is 400 likes. It's the Champions League final. I better see 400 likes. So let's begin, people. When we think about this game, and I know a lot of people will immediately say this, oh, Man City got this. Man City got this. They're the best team in the world. Well, I would agree on the second point that yes, Man City are the best team in the world, and it's not even close. They are annihilating teams. They're controlling matches. They're scoring for fun. They're keeping clean sheets. Defensively solid. And you're thinking to yourself, how are Inter going to win this game? But there's always these scenarios in finals. You know, we build up the final. We always talk about, oh, if they could just do this, if they could do that. Maybe mentally they're not going to be prepared. There's all this talk before the finals. What happens in 90 minutes or 120 minutes, nobody can predict. Nobody could predicted the last final that was in Istanbul when it was 3-0 up for Milan and 3-3 then Liverpool equalized. Nobody could predict these sort of things. This is what makes football the greatest sport in the world. Because on paper, you look at both teams and you're like, Dumfries? Kyle Walker? Ruben Diaz? Acerbi? Ruben Diaz. Haaland? We'll give some respect to Lautaro. It's a mismatch. But Inzaghi in cup finals knows what to do. And this road that Inter have taken to this final has not been easy. Okay, you could say, look at the knockout stage. They played against Porto, played against Benfica, played against Milan. They had it easy. Do we not forget who they had in the group stage? They went up against the Bundesliga league winners. Yes, okay, Bayern are not the greatest this season, but they still managed to get past that group. And Barcelona, who just won the La Liga. And then Victoria Pilsen, who were just there collecting stamps. Man City also have had a tough road. And I think this is what really has helped Man City maybe winning their first Champions League, is that they have gone through Leipzig, which was going to be easy, Bayern, and Madrid. Now, those two games against Bayern and Madrid, they professionally just did the job. They destroyed both teams at home, and away, they controlled the game, and Pep knows, and I think Pep has definitely learned his lessons. After many years of just mishandling the situation, Pep has finally realized, I just got to stick to my best team and we will win the game. And I think for Inter, they're going into this game with no pressure. Of course there's going to be pressure, oh, you have to win the Champions League. Nobody before this season, not many Inter fans could have predicted that they would have made the Champions League final. And if you look at how the team were in late February, March, they couldn't buy a goal. They couldn't buy a win. And then all of a sudden, once the goals started going in, the confidence got back into the squad. There was no more fighting between Onana and Brozovic. The squad looks happy and they are confident. And that is a scary thing if you're Man City. You're not going up against an inconsistent side where they're losing here, they're winning there. Inter are on a roll. The only loss that I've seen recently is, of course, Napoli 3-1 away, but they fielded a B team in that matchup. I'm really intrigued on how Inzaghi is going to nullify KDB, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. I think Dumfries on the ball is like Shaq shooting a free throw. You don't want to see it. Defensively, Dumfries is solid. We'll give him that. He's going to have a tough job against Grealish. And then, of course, Di Marco on the other side and Bastoni, they got a tough job with Bernardo Silva. And how is Acerbi? How is Darmian? How are they going to nullify Haaland? It's a lot of thinking for Inzaghi, but Inter can pose a threat. Man City have not probably faced any two-striker formation this season. I'm trying to think of any in the Premier League. I don't think anybody plays. Maybe Brentford, that would be the only one, and Brentford beat them. But obviously the last game of the season didn't matter. But we saw what happened at the Etihad. Obviously, Pep was tinkering. He was doing this, doing that. That's what Inter can pose a threat in this game. How can Lautaro and whoever is going to be the second striker? Is it going to be Dzeko? Is it going to be Lukaku? Personally, I think Inzaghi should go with Lukaku because Lukaku's on form. But we see Dzeko in these big games in the Champions League this season. He is stepping up. Stepping up in the biggest moments. And him and Lautaro have a good partnership. And I just think Lautaro, man, he's got the confidence. I always say he is a hot and cold merchant. Right now, he's an inferno. He's an inferno. Hey, the guy's on fire. And he can really, in one season, Lautaro can win the World Cup and the Champions League. Think about that. Lautaro Martinez, El Toro. We always talk about then Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Brozovic, Mkhitaryan, what midfield is Inzaghi going to go with. But the one thing that Inter have done very well, and especially in the counter-attack, is they don't really just keep the ball. They have a direction. Couple one touches to break the pressing line, and they're through. Di Marco getting on through on goal, Dumfries on the other side. So that's the thing. Inter are used to playing on the counter-attack. So they'll be comfortable just defending, like they did away at Porto, and then hitting teams on the counter-attack. And we know how this game is going to go. Man City are going to dominate the ball most of the game, and Inter are just going to have to pick their moments to take advantage of it. But it's going to be difficult for Inter because we see Man City in transition, just not attacking-wise, but defensively, with all these center backs now they're playing with, they look rock solid. They don't look like they have a weakness. Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, Akanji, John Stones. I think Inzaghi is looking at this Man City team and he's thinking to himself, how can I get John Stones out of this game? Because John Stones, look, he might be England's best midfielder. I'm not gonna lie. John Stones in the midfield is ridiculous. He's a ridiculous player. So there's a lot to think for Inzaghi. But Pep has to think about some certain things. And, last time they were in a Champions League final, Pep overthought it and they lost 1-0. But I don't think Pep is going to do that anymore. Pep has learned his lesson, and Pep will pick the best team. And that is the team that played against United in the FA Cup final, and the team that played against Real Madrid, Bayern, and all these games. So I don't think there will be any surprises. If there is, I would be shocked. I would be very shocked by Pep, and he's then thinking to himself, okay, it's a final, but anything can happen. If Man City just play their game, Man City will win this game. Because they just have too many weapons. They can give it to Bernardo, he can create out wide. They can give it to Grealish, he can create out wide. Gundogan, who can find those passes. KDB, who can just cross it, find passes into Haaland. And how are you going to deal with Haaland? Now, obviously, Haaland recently has kind of gone on a little bit of a cold streak. I think it's now 1 goal in the last 7 games. He is not going into this final not scoring a goal. He has to score a goal. These are the moments that Man City paid the big bucks, wages-wise, not transfer fee, to Haaland and saying, we need you for these moments. So this is where Haaland, you got to step up. We know he's a great striker. He's had one of the greatest seasons ever for a striker. This is where it counts for Man City if they want to lift their first ever Champions League. I'm not too worried about how Rodri's going to play or KDB or Gundogan because these guys, they've been here before. They don't want to have a repeat of 2021. They don't want that sickening feeling of, oh my God, we lost again. They want to rectify 2021 and lift that Champions League. And that is the ultimate project for this Man City group, is finally lifting the Champions League. But what about Inter? It is really shocking to me, covering Serie A, watching Champions League, that Inter are in this final. Because at times it looked like, does Inzaghi have the whole changing room with him? Are his tactics still working? Are the fans pleased with him? But all of a sudden, they got a Coppa Italia, and now they're on the verge of maybe winning another Champions League. They're 4th in the club's history. And if Inzaghi pulls this off, with not a lot of spending from Zhang, because we know Inter cannot spend a lot of money, it would be a miracle. It would be simply a miracle if Inter win this, and it would be one of the great Champions League upsets. And really, kind of like underdog stories. Yes, Inter are a huge club in Serie A and in Europe. There is no doubt about that. I am not debating it. But this squad, this Inter squad is weaker than the Conte squad that won the Scudetto. And they're in the final because Inzaghi knows how to deal with cup competitions. He's lost one final in his managerial career. So he knows how to prepare his team for the tough moments. And mentally, I think this squad, they're in a good position. They're in a great position. Who's going to lift the Champions League in Istanbul? I know a lot of people. Before the game, I would say it is 80-20 for Man City. That is just my perspective. And if I have to give a score prediction, I think this game will end 2-0 to Manchester City, and they will lift their first ever Champions League. This is no disrespect to Inter. I just think Man City are too good. But hey, it's a final, and anything can happen in finals. And maybe we'll get a shock, or maybe a treble is upon us. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We'll be live after the Champions League final for a match reaction. No watch along. I will be going out. Probably somewhere to watch it because, you got to enjoy the game at the terrace or somewhere and enjoy the beautiful weather and hopefully enjoy the beautiful football that will be upon us on Saturday. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world, people. And good luck to both teams. Adios.